Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All righty. Hello. Second quarter stats today.
Bring 'em on.
We got to help Becky out. Becky wants to have a baby. She went to get her eggplant parmesan, which usually causes it, and it hasn't happened. So we're hoping just your presence and stats will cause her to go into labor. There we go. Randy, no, let's go Barbara. So Barbara with Home Pro, great breakfast. Thank you. You have a little drawing for a bottle of wine.
I know y'all have a lot to do today, so I won't take up a ton of time. I am
Straight
with
to the wine.
Home Pro, the home inspection company. Oh, I see one more person. We have been in business for almost 20 years. We have 13 full-time inspectors, and we inspect an hour outside of Atlanta in every direction. And one thing I wanted to share with you today, which some of you have already seen, something that we do that some of the other inspection companies might not, are these maintenance cards that we send after every inspection. So the card has your logo, your name, address, contact number, some general maintenance tips, your photo, and then on the back we pull from the inspection report where the HVA filter is located, the electrical disconnect, and the water shutoff. So this is something that you can give your buyer at the end of the inspection, and it doesn't even have anything with Home Pro. People magnetize them to in the basement or whatever. So if they need these tips,
Pass that same.
yes, I have a couple to pass around. Let me see. These here, you guys can just. And then another cute little thing that we add with that is we have this neat program that turns everything into watercolor. So we send you 3 watercolor photos of the house and then some address labels. So this is something that we do no matter what after every home inspection. So that's just a little added touch that Home Pro gives. And if you ever have any questions about home inspections, please give us a call. And there's some stickies and a pen with our phone number. And thanks for your business. Oh, let me do the raffle really quick.
Oh, here we go.
Somebody can get a bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine, red wine.
Dolores Voorhees.
There you go.
All right, thank you for your time. You guys enjoy the meeting.
There we go. Randolph Lip, you wanted to say something quickly?
I do, just real quick. I know it's stats, so I don't want to take long. But we are having 2 things this week. One is the Mortgage 102 Advanced Problem Solving, how to solve problems out of the box that you guys run into every single contract. We kind of teach you some creative thinking and give you some ideas on how to work around certain things. That's happening at 11:30 today in this room. We are having pizzas delivered. Thursday, we're having wine and cheese from 4 to 5, and it's all about working with investors. And we will have some agents here talking about that. We're going to be sharing some out-of-the-box type programs with you. So it's all about working with investors. Sometimes you get that investor says, I want to pay cash for it. Is that the best thing for them? We're going to talk about things like that. Charlie's got some great inputs. He's not going to be here Thursday, but he's got some great ideas on that he's going to share with me ahead of time for actually doing some commercial stuff. So today, 11:30. Thursday, 4 o'clock. Thanks, guys.
Always good to know more about investing, both for yourself and for clients. It's a big source of business with clients. I actually might, as you know, I invest for 30 years, bought, sold, flipped, built. We have an investment club every month to come to that we talk about stuff. I actually might cross the line into a whole new genre for me, and that I'm close to actually buying a flip in Nashville.
That's outside your radius.
Exactly. Long way outside. So I'll keep you informed on that. All right. You have this in front of you. Very sad news, but wanted to make you aware. You all know Doug and Patricia Alexander, long time in our office. Kind of freak, crazy accident with their son, 37. What was it, last Wednesday?
Yes.
Wednesday. So If you would like to attend, they welcome you to attend. The funeral is it's actually visitation is 1 o'clock at A.G. Turner. Excuse me, A.S. Turner. Tomorrow at 1. Services are there at 2, and then you will go back if you would like to a celebration of their son's life, who actually, his name is Brad, at his wife, their daughter-in-law's house. So they'd love for you to attend and see them. I believe they have 2 younger children, right? Yes. Yeah. So if you want to email Doug and say something, but they would welcome you to attend here. Both are indicated. Both of these are indicated tomorrow. All right. Let's put up the winners for the British Open. So Kevin just informed me one of the lowest viewings of British Open history. No Tiger, no Rory. I guess no one wanted to watch, but I liked it. So I don't know how she does it. Denise McEnany has, I don't know who she talks to, but if you saw the people she picked before this tournament, you would go, there is no way. Crazy. She's always in the money. So Denise won the 150. Jim Jenks, new to the office, he must know some golf besides walking his dog. 32, minus 32 in second place, and a tie with Tara Gaines and Bob Wood. Third will get you your money. Congratulations. Also, let's look at the people in the region. Do you have that? No. Oh, that's okay. So, y'all probably saw the regional newsletter yesterday. So cool, y'all saw, you were like top billing in the pictures. Right. Best dressed men were at the top of all the pictures. Very cool. But you also saw that Brandon Atkins was number 8 individual in the entire region. That's out of 11,000 people. And Scott Mortower, number 4. All the commercials. That's a big deal. How long have you been doing this? 4 or 5 years? 5 years. There you go. Had to reinvent himself. It can be done. Congratulations. All right, let's talk a little second quarter stats. So, for you that have been around here a long time, you know that the Rawls Group really, probably one of the first groups in the country that had these stats done. So it was really started in the downturn, let's say 2008 to 2010. We needed intel, we needed proof to our sellers mainly of the market, the realities of the market. And a lot of you that have gotten in the market since 2012, you don't know this world. It was the exact opposite of our world today, meaning there were a boatload of listings, very few buyers, and an offer of 80% wasn't bad at all, right? So we needed information to get our sellers to price appropriately, to make them understand that yes, your neighbor's house yesterday just sold for $300 yesterday, and I advise you to list at $280, and we had to be able to explain that, okay? Because it was a falling market. So let's look at the stats. This is for you. You should have received these yesterday. I would think, how many of you use these at least one slide in your presentation? I mean, that's the reason for this. There's a lot of slides. They're all, over the years, been tailored to explain a situation in the market. And I wouldn't use the same one every time, but depending on the profile of your seller or buyer, I would include 3 or 4 that will show proof of what you're trying to explain to them and the pricing you're trying to get. All right, so let's begin. All right, I always show this. Remember, happened again. My dad's the ultimate person. Had dinner with him last night. First thing he's always going to say is, how's business and how's the market? He's going to show me an article, okay? And Dad, that is national news. Bring me things here, okay? So national news is way different than Atlanta news, which is way different than your neighborhood, correct? Just remember that. You got to clarify which it is. Okay, this is why we do this. So, rather than using emotion, guesswork, or assertions to arrive at your listing price, when you and I together understand the real estate market data showing what actually happened to other sellers in the current market, it reveals the most likely outcome of pricing strategies for you. Using overall metro market statistics provides us with a large enough data set of real outcomes to feel comfortable that they will likely happen in the future transactions, allowing us to take advantage of this knowledge to price your property to achieve your goals. I would somewhat be able to say that. Okay? That's why we're using these. Okay, again, I'm from a different era, different world, but it's just like, I can drive somewhere without using maps. Okay, I paid attention as a kid. Y'all didn't. So, really, I mean, my kids go, what? Okay, well, this is the truth. Y'all probably don't even know these areas anymore, right? In this world. But this is the FMLS areas. It's good to know these, to be able to describe to other people what you're looking for. This has been a chart for a long time. Again, we're showing this for two. Well, really, again, there's a massive advantage. Just remember, you're working for a company that has a massive market share advantage over the next highest people. And again, it's always pointed out, you can see this is slightly declining. Again, we had such a run-up, you probably cannot maintain this trajectory. But I find this fine. Again, this is what I'm looking at. Remember, we do a lot more deals than anybody in the city. And realize this is a interactive type talk here. So anyone that has any comments, please speak up. Okay. Here, these are individual slides, but to me, if I was showing these in my presentation, I would probably, it's usually better to have less than more slides, so it puts it all together. So this is kind of one look at the second quarter. So this is 3 years. It's hard to see because it's so similar, but that is 3 years right there. And you can see that the number of monthly sales has hardly changed, even though you do have this number, okay? And I think you have to look at this. I've had this conversation a lot lately. What does it mean? What does it mean to you that actually this is number of sales, so number of closed transactions. What does it mean that this is actually down for the year and median price is up? What does that mean? Because it's not normal, right? Okay, so we have low inventory, right?
But the price point is continuing to increase on average of the closed transactions. So not necessarily, you can't say because of this the values are going up, but there's more transactions at higher prices.
Okay.
More transactions, more commissions.
Right. So what is typical is price going up, sales would be up. That's what you would think, correct?
Sales are still up.
Well, for the year, they're 30%
For the
up.
percentage difference, I think if you account for all the new construction that doesn't get calculated, I think it gets absorbed in that.
Probably so.
I do think that our sales units are likely still the same.
Equal, same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And prices, since demand is still equally the same, and since we have so many strong factors in the market, that's why median sales price is still increasing.
Okay, so let's even go your assumption that this is even. It's not down.
Yeah.
I mean, why are prices going up so fast even with a even market?
I don't know that they're going up so fast.
Sam.
Brad, I think it also is important to look at those price segments and the difference between what's happening in 7 to 8, 8 to 9, and the various submarkets, because I think that tells that part of the story as well. Obviously, things around the average, whatever average is for your market, those houses are not sitting on the market long,
Right.
on average or below. I think you have to look at that next so-called breakdown and see where are these units that aren't closing, where are those price points that are experiencing higher days on market. So I think that tells the rest of the story.
Correct, and we've said this over and over and over again. Every single property is its own analysis, okay? Depending on school district, price, neighborhood condition, it is its own analysis. So my opinion is that, again, we would have higher number of sales if there was more inventory. A lot of the, let's just say, even sales or slightly down sales is because there's buyers that can't find what they want. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
But, like Becky said, and I've had this conversation even this morning, we're all here, this is past data, okay? We're all looking at this data to try to read the tea leaves and give our best guess as to what is going to happen in the third quarter and the fourth quarter next year. That's why we're here. Your clients ask that a lot. Don't they ask you a lot? What do you think?
Yep.
Okay, and we need to be able to give a pretty compelling answer where, one, they regard you as a pretty smart person, right? And they need you. So again, my answer, every time someone asks me that, Brad, what do you think of the market next year? Same thing. I can say it in my sleep. I'm going to start every time with, I don't have a crystal ball, okay? But if I had to give you an answer, and I go from there. So we have a lot of factors that we need, that we cannot answer that question, and I would give someone all those factors. I would say on this side we have this, on this side we have this. Okay, so what is great about Atlanta right now? And it could be the best of all time. In my 30 years, I cannot remember a time where there's so many things you can say about Atlanta that is good.
Employment.
Employment, unbelievable.
Affordability.
Affordability, still one of the best in the country for major cities. Braves are probably down the list, but it is a good factor. It is a good factor. Okay.
The growth is strong in so many areas, but the fields are so diverse. It's not just tech or just Hollywood or just one thing. It's so many different things.
We do have a lot of industries. You mentioned Hollywood, so we're kind of 1-2 for movies and series being done, right?
Our weather's amazing.
Our weather's amazing. That is correct. We have all 4 seasons for the most part. Doesn't, you know.
What you say the same week?
It's a good climate. What else? What else?
All the redevelopment going on in the downtown area.
Tons of redevelopment everywhere. What else?
The Beltline?
Beltline is highly cool, right? What else?
Hartsfield, Jackson.
What?
Yeah.
Hartport, yeah, no doubt. I mean, if you fly anywhere, that airport is the simplest to figure out of any I know of. It is. It's efficient. What else?
Hospitality.
Tons of hospitality. Really, we're one of the top 3 towns in the country for millennials, which they're really finding all of a sudden is a very important factor.
Our food and culture, the restaurants.
Agree.
Our diversity.
Agree.
I think it's just sheer fact people people keep moving here.
Well, people are moving here exactly for these reasons. Exactly. I mean, there's no stopping this. But I think the millennial thing's a big thing. Now, all the major companies that everyone wants to attract, they're following the brightest millennials, correct? So that's a big one. What else?
Well, talking about that, the college and universities in Georgia. So you've got a nice.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Our houses are relatively affordable compared to other markets.
Correct. And one last one I would say, so you should be able to reel these off with people. I would say on one side, we got all these positives. Another one, I think, what has just happened with Amazon? They've gone from 2 day to 1 day, right? You got to have a lot of product on the ground to do that, okay? And think about Atlanta. We did the stat earlier this year, 80% of the country is within a 2-hour flight of Atlanta, okay? But think about our grid. We have 85, 75, 20. Look at that distribution, truck distribution. You put warehouses right off those highways. That's a big one. That's a really big one. So on that side, we just made a huge list of good stuff. What's the variables? What can't we predict?
Terrorism.
What?
Terrorism.
World events.
True.
Weather.
Okay, one that will change a lot next year will be
Can't predict.
the president, right? Which party? We don't know that. Rates are
Interest rates,
amazing. Stock market, amazing, right?
but we don't control it.
We don't control it, okay? But there's a lot of good factors that if I was advising someone to buy, I would advise them to buy or invest. I would. With all the factors out there right now, I would easily, I'm doing it myself, okay? Oops. So, median price, down slightly, okay? Probably not enough to talk about. And if you, again, compared to the bad times, this is an amazing number. This we probably need to, this makes me, it's 1/4, right? Just 1/4, it's not 3 or 4, but this would make me pay attention right here, okay? Just 1/4, could be any number of factors, but days on the market have gone up a little bit. I mean, 6%, which is, 26%, which is not a small number, but again, we're in relatively low ranges. Again, in the bad times, this was hundreds of days. But we need to watch that, correct? We do need to watch that. Way back from Sean, American Idol chart. Again, hadn't changed much. You can see what we've been in. Probably 2012 is when we started to come out of this. So low supply, average 2.8 months. That's not every price range. Again, I'll show you later, in the bad times, it was a massive number. So this is a very low number of supply and number of solds you see up here. Very consistent. This hasn't changed much. So we are, on the other side of, if we're asking, what do you think about the market? So the only thing I can say on the other side is we have been in a very long expansion, right? Very long. So if you're economics minded, you understand, and the longer, I'm 60 years old, so I've lived in a few of these, and they do that. So we've been this for a while. You would just think, just logically.
Comes down.
Right.
Or adjust.
And last sales meeting, for the first time ever, Randy quoted loan amount of 101%.
That's a little scary.
Right. I'm just saying, we got to pay attention. There's some things that all of a sudden we need to pay attention. We have a very good market here, and way better than most of the country. California's been in correction already 2 years, okay? We just need to pay attention. There's some reasons to pay attention. I moved this slide up. Again, this is reason to pay attention. Could be a 1 month anomaly, but I mean, this is the last 3 years, and you can see how we follow the same pattern. But June definitely down, even though this office had a massive June. This is a down number, okay? I mean, enough to see, right? So I'm just paying attention, okay? 1 month is not a trend, but we pay attention. Okay, everyone should know this, and this should be part of your presentation, okay?
Everyone.
Right.
Everyone.
Hasn't really changed, you know?
No, hadn't changed it forever, but your biggest battle, I mean, your probably biggest time in real estate in your daily, weekly, and monthly is you're going on a listing presentation, and you have to realize you are putting on your armor and your sword, and you are going to, it's the only time you're going to be on the other side of the equation with your future potential client, but we need to get this price right. We need to have battle strategy where I'm going to walk out of here with this thing priced right. Because here, look at the gig, right? Look at this. I mean, look at the difference. Chances of selling first week to 2 weeks after that. Not to say it can't happen. And a lot of people are getting lucky in this market because, let's say they overpriced it, and because we've been appreciating forever, might catch back up with you, right? In 6 months. But you got to get this price rise. Very important. Very important. Okay? So, people come to me all the time. You think you want $1.5 million listing? No, I'm not saying necessarily no or yes, but be careful what you wish for. Okay? Look at this. You get something 2 to 300. 1 out of every 2.3 is selling. That's almost go the bank. 1 out of almost 9. Okay? I can feel it. I can feel that right now. The stress of 9 months. And this guy is a smart guy. This guy owns a $1.5 million house. He knows he's fairly intelligent to be owning a $1.5 million house. He's going to be calling me every day, if not 3 times a day, asking why I hadn't sold. So I'm taking his call. So it's time, money spent, and stress. Now I'm not saying don't take a $1.5 million house. There's a lot of people in here that have sold a $1.5 million house, but you need to be incredibly careful going into that listing presentation. You are battling big time, right? Yep.
What's the definition of failed? Is that expired withdrawals? Okay.
Didn't sell.
Didn't sell. Okay. So I'm not saying don't take higher price, but the higher price you're going, you need to be way more diligent in your pricing. Okay, so what does this mean? Well, this is actually showing you the difference. This is 2009, totally different world. 31,000 listings, 14. You can see the difference. I mean, this is like, I can't describe to you how night and day this is. 16 months of supply on average in 2009, 2.8. This was a major industry, right? Distressed properties, 40% of them were distressed, foreclosed or short sale. You have someone call up and say they want a foreclosure. I'll give you permission to laugh on the phone. No, but I think we need to explain that if someone says, "Hey, I'm looking for a foreclosure," you could go, "Well,
Regular market.
Bill, you realize that I understand. There's 1% of properties are foreclosed. Very few. Are you saying that what you want is a deal? You want something under market? We can work with that, right? Right. That's what they're really saying. Look at the difference. Look at the difference there. Almost 40%. 40%. I mean, 40. I'm not saying this right. There were 40% sales compared to now. Anyone that you put in the market at this time, they should be sending you gifts, right? Average price, look at that. Yeah, it's been an incredible run. Days on market, 145.22. I don't even want you to live through that. That is just right pain beside that. That is a tough world. Look at that, 80%. Average price, now 97. Almost everything was reduced 75%. A lot more failed listings. So that's the difference in the world, okay? Again, one more piece that is keep your eyes open. A decent jump in price reductions, okay? Y'all are feeling that, right? You tell me that every time, right? True? Okay.
Isn't that kind of a byproduct of the way the median values are up? When you list a home, the understanding is I can get more from my house than ever before, and that's part of that mentality. So that's hard. I mean, I understand part of the job's to get the listing. Part of the job's to get the listing and get them priced right. Right. And that, I know there's a fine line between that, but
there's a very fine line. That's the line. So you know going in that that's what they're thinking. all they're hearing is great market. Prices up from 143 to 309 and going up still, all the good things about Atlanta. You just prepare for that. They're going to go, I want to be here. But that's not necessarily the story now. I listen to all of y'all. I mean, there's a lot more talk this summer. I mean, we've had a lot of sales and very good business for the office as a whole, but there's a lot more talk about things. Am I listening and selling? I'm not getting showings. I'm not getting offers. Would you agree? Mm-hmm. Right. So we need to be able to present that story in a way that they get that it's just not next highest price. But you just prepare. That's what you're going to. That is your presentation. That's going to be the objection for sure, Mike.
And I think that also goes back to breaking down that national news, local news, and community,
right?
Neighborhood news,
right?
It's just letting them know that they may be listening to the wrong story.
Exactly, and we need to show them the right story. Okay. There's the difference. Okay, price it right, don't price it right. I'd rather be in this little red area. List it, 2 weeks under contract, 40 days I get paid. Right.
And it's not just the price, you're going to get more on the price. You're also going to get, I find, the buyers behave better on the inspection when you go under contract quickly.
So does the agent.
Because they think that, other people might want this house, as opposed to when you've got the stale bread effect. They'll ask for all kinds of things. I tell that to sellers. They don't always listen, but I tell them.
I think you're correct.
The price, you're going to get more and better price. It's that you're going to get less asked for.
I think you're right. I mean, I think it's human nature.
Because they think there's someone else waiting.
Right. Again, on the other side, if it goes under quickly and they've paid asking or over, I would prepare my seller. I mean, they paid asking or over, they're going to ask for a lot. They're going to want everything perfect, right? But I think you're right there, RJ. All right, so we've been through the story again many times. So here it is now. Average days on the market 24. No price reduction. Price reduction. Here's 2 ways it could go from there. Here's 2 ways it can go from there. We are hoping that this is your story right here, the ultimate, right? Again, this is interactive, so you can explain this to your seller. You can put in price range and show this. And you ought to play around with this. Just go do it, okay? So put in 200 to 299, put in 3, and then go put in 7 and see the difference in this story, okay? And that could be part of what we're just saying, that you have to explain the story. Bob, you realize that what you're reading about is probably in this area 3, right? That there's just so little supply that, yes, we could price higher, but you're here, right? Typical, you can see most things in real estate have a repeating pattern, no different here. So why in summer, for argument's sake, May 1 year, May 1 year, actually it's May again, 3 years. Why do failed listings start increasing in May?
Well, you've got the reloads.
Reloads are somewhat done, right? What else?
And people are asking too much money in that time of year.
Correct, and there's probably the biggest supply of listings, right? Yeah. Again, you can see. Again, I'm not saying go for the high. I mean, unbelievable to get $800,000 closing, $24,000. That's an awesome commission, or even double that. But just be aware of what you're here. 50% over chance of failing, meaning you spent money, you spent time, and you're more stressed having dealt with that seller for every day for 6 months, and look at it here. I mean, you're going to the bank. So I'm not saying don't go here, but I'm saying also I wouldn't be crying here. I mean, 6,000 in my world. right? It's not bad. Okay, also we have interactive here too. So pretty much the same way, same story, just presenting it a different way. 27 fail, 73 sell. Here's the path both ways. Okay? We need to become very, very skilled in practice at pricing property and making the presentation to our seller in a way that convinces them. Same thing, you can do this interactive. Learn how to use these. Most of you have seen this chart, but basically it is, you need to study this longer than we have time to, but you can see that this is a situation where this is what you suggested, this is what the seller wanted, which is unrealistic, and when you add up all the cost and carrying cost, you can see that at the end they actually made more money listing lower. And I've heard this many people, I think y'all are starting to use this script too, that you really can't underprice your property. I mean, don't some of you say that? And why do you say that?
Market was correct.
You'll get more.
You can underprice it, you just won't undersell it.
You can undersell it. You can't undersell it.
But you can underprice it, so that you can ultimately get true market value.
That's right. Okay, we're kind of saying the same thing,
Well,
two different
people
words.
only have narrow
Yeah.
vision. They only think, well, I'm paying towards my equity every month. Then you think, well, wait a minute, what about your electricity, your gas, your water, your sewer, you know, your interest and everything else? When you add that up over 2 or 3 months' time, that's just gone money.
So if by chance you were to actually price it lower than it should be, the market in this day and age is gonna, you're gonna end up back where you should be. Okay, so here's the overall summary. We kind of went through this in different format. Year to date, number of sales down 3.8. I think a lot of that could be, and I agree with Becky, it's probably even when you put in new and everything, but even being level, I think there's just a lack of supply. Where there's buyers, they just can't find what they want. Median sales price higher, and what's amazing, I mean, 3.7 in a quarter is actually massive for one quarter. I mean, that, if on a yearly basis, that's almost 15%. Okay? What's amazing is this number after all the up we've had. Okay? Again, be thankful. This is great. Gonna watch this. We're gonna pay attention to this. Okay? This is one saying pay attention. This is one saying pay attention. Okay? Supply a little bit higher. That's probably good for us. In the old times, in the bad times, this was a concern, like rising supply was a bad thing. Now, because we're so incredibly low, this is probably a good thing, right? A little bit, just to get more listings and more things to look at for buyers. Realize this, in Chuck's stats, you can, let's just say we're short of time, which we always are for some reason. Oh my gosh, I got this listing presentation in 2 hours. You know, you've been showing out-of-town people forever. This is a quick index of, if you're looking for slides to include, this kind of breaks it down quickly, okay? Which is good to know, okay? So, shift, you newer people, I don't like, the word shift in my world means major correction, which was 2008 to 2010. We're nowhere near that, even that word. To me, it's a change. I'm using the word change, not really shift, because shift means something different. But we're looking at these parameters again. That's I got to watch this. We got to watch this. Price reductions. We got to watch this. Okay, this isn't enough to worry about. This is actually better. Okay, I mean, not wowing me, but okay, this is a better thing. Supply, that's not worse to me, because we need supply for buyers at the level we're at. Some increasing supply would be good. So this to me is not worse. It's a good thing. About the same. About the same. Distress, no big thing. So, but these two are on my radar. Absolutely. Okay. As is 101% loans. Okay. Okay, number of sold, you see by the quarter, slightly down from last year, last 2 years. Yearly, we're slightly down. Probably just not the supply. This, I don't know, this bothers me a little bit, right? I always say one month, 1 quarter in the trend. Well,
3 quarters.
yeah. So we got to watch, right? We got to. We got to. Here you go. You want to sell in $1.5 million? Look how many sell every quarter compared to Bill.
Yeah, the change in numbers sold, really the 100 to 199. And the next category went up, but the reason why that number decreased is there's no inventory in that price range.
1 to 199. Right.
So there's less sales because there's less opportunities, not because the market's declined in that.
Well, there's hardly a listing in that price range, right? Again, this is the last 3 years. I mean, unbelievable, just as similar as you can get, which is a very good similar. But we can see it doesn't really show here, but this, this is, June was down. June was down an amount. We need to see if next month that's the case or we have a trend going. Oops, is that it? That's it. So, thoughts on this? Bill?
I think that it remains to be a very strong market with signals of slowing and softening, but the sellers that are prepared to price their house and position it right and get it ready for market, as long as they position it right price-wise, they have
and
a high chance
condition-wise.
of being successful. It all boils down to positioning and price.
And
those who
condition.
fail to heed that warning are going
Right.
to be part of that softening category in days on market, list price to sale price ratio, all the other metrics. They're going to suffer.
Correct.
Do we have any stats on, you just said condition, as far as houses that need a little work? Are they performing or are not performing compared to like fixer-uppers?
You need more intel. So obviously at low prices that someone's pricing it to, actually they price for the repair. Like you could buy this and fix it up and flip it. That's probably a very hot property. Probably something in the 600 range that is dated probably doesn't do as well. All right?
Has anyone noticed that Knock has changed their ad? It used to be they'll buy their home from you and they'll say you don't have to do everything. Now they're saying, we'll help you sell your home. And it just switched. I noticed just last week how their ad changed. So I think when you're saying fixer-uppers they're harder to find. And that whole thing is kind of changing.
Well,
So with the open
sellers
door,
are still a little bit open.
who was fired with open door? Somebody was fired at the open door. The whole staff or something was open.
Yeah, it was a top person. And here's the truth. I mean, their model, it's. But I'm just saying, if prices level or start going down, they're knocked out. Is what they are. It doesn't work, right? So, but that's interesting. That is a significant change.
Yeah.
Right. Right, Bill.
And just on the topic of conversation, we all hear the advertisements and the billboards for a former KW agent that has his own firm that represents himself as being the agent, but it's really just a big brokerage.
Right.
But keep in mind that, I think that's a lead generation tool he's using to make his phone ring, and most of those homes don't qualify. He's just trying to capture that buyer or seller opportunity to convert them into a traditional listing.
Isn't he still doing the Craig Proctor language too, a buyer who doesn't sell? That's what I thought.
Guaranteed offer.
Yeah, he's never bought one.
It's
I
a
don't think
lead
that.
generation tool.
Right.
It's not-
But even his signs have changed. It used to say your home sold guaranteed. Now it's an offer on your home.
He dropped that a couple years ago.
Right.
And restrictions apply.
Two questions, or one comment and one question. So literally, I just tell people, if you hear your friends talking about wanting to sell and not do staging and everything, to talk to us, because we might have an investor that would pay them much more than an open door or a knock. I mean, they are not in the business to make you money. They're in the business, it's gonna cost you $30,000 or $40,000 minimum, off the bat, to sell it that way. So if that's what you wanna do, but we may have a renovator that would buy it for, more. The other question I have though, Susan and I were talking about this, so has anybody ever worked with, if you have a seller in a situation, worked with an iBuyer from trying to help a seller? Like we have a client that's in a neighborhood that there's too many for sale and some things are going on.
Mhm.
So it might, we might consider an iBuyer because we just want to get her out of there. So have you ever, people do that, and nobody in this office has done it yet.
So okay, so I just had a deal.
That's when the corporation buys it.
We had a
I
house
want to sell it.
contingent.
Our
Right.
seller might need
Right.
it. We're going to
So
look
our-
at iBuying, use it to our advantage.
I was the third house. The middle house was sold. We were contingent on their sale. The first house was having trouble sell, so they went to knock and open door. And they thought, okay, we'll get it sold. But when I researched where the house was, there's too much supply and it's a 3 to 6 month for the house to sell. Both those companies ended up pulling out of the deal.
Right, that's what I'm worried about. Okay.
And if there's a lot on the market, knock and open door won't buy it.
Okay. Well, but we're just trying to explore all opportunities.
Right, but that's what happened. I was lucky that the middle client ended up turning into an all-cash buyer.
Okay.
But
Quick
I know
comment.
there were offers.
Quick
I'm just
comment
asking if
on-
anybody's had any success on that one.
Buffini did his little market review, mid-market review.
Yeah.
Kevin, did you watch it? Yeah, and so did, I'm sure Damian did. He's talking about the iBuyers. That's like 0.2% of all transactions are these guys, even though we spend a lot of time worrying about them and thinking about them. But they're not doing as near what typical real estate's doing. So-
Very small percentage.
Yeah, so I didn't realize it was that small from a national standpoint, but they're not in all markets either.
One thing you didn't mention was the interest rate effect. Rates got up pretty high there in the winter and spring till they went back down. So that could have chilled a lot of people from buying in the first part of the year, I think.
When they were higher?
Yeah, when they were higher.
Right.
So now they've lowered them. Maybe that might bring some people back.
Oh, I think it has. So,
Yeah.
Kevin, also you guys, John Buffini, he also was pretty high in the market for the rest of the year, right?
There was also 2 Gary Kellerisms.
Right. Who's on
Can
Kelly?
we share or not?
Sure.
Gary's comment where this isn't a real estate company now, we're a technology company. He likes that comment. He also feels like he's positioning it to go public.
Which Gary's repeatedly said that.
Yes.
And why would he say that?
I guess that's intel he's got.
Well, who takes business from Buffini?
Gary, on the news.
With Maps Coaching.
You get a map.
Okay, what else?
What was the second thing, John?
Well, you were talking about with Gary Keller. The reason why he said Gary.
I guess it
Keller
was the technology part.
Yeah, the reason why he said it is because you get the valuation in the marketplace.
Right.
And if you're a technology company compared to Reality, is it Reality? Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, Reality.
Reality. Which, had a lot more sales. That's Sotheby's and all that. That's that company for them. So he's saying that if Keller Williams did do that, then they could get the kind of capital to capitalize the company that then would allow them to be much more competitive with Zillow, Open Door, Knock, and all that. That's what we're talking about. Well, Knock's not one, Open Door.
I don't think he's going to say that.
But that was his justification.
And y'all realize too that all this, a lot more command is really escalating in what it can do. And that all the analysis now, especially the consumer app, which word on the street is that in tests, like they have test groups to look at this like you're a consumer, and it's being extremely well received. The people that are testing that are really Google people.
Yeah, Google employees are testing our consumer app and are amazed.
Yeah, they said there's nothing like it.
And then
Blown
Amazon
away.
Reality just announced a partnership today. So,
Yeah, so you'll see that. Amazon, there's, you can read about it, yeah. Okay, so what do you take from these stats, second quarter?
Keep your eyes open.
Price it right.
But, yeah, I think we keep our eyes open, but I've been around a long time. I don't see things really correcting in any major way with rates low, stock market's high, jobs amazing. On top of the other 10 or 15 things we've said about Atlanta, some that can't change. Yes.
I want to point out that on Wednesday, August 7th, John Hahn of the Bolt Group is going to be teaching the CMA class in Ignite. So we're talking about sharpening our pricing skills. Everyone's invited when we go over that. So I'll remind you, Wednesday, August 7th,
Okay.
so you can come.
Okay. Again, we got to get great at pricing, and we need to expect that in every listing. And it's a, I mean, this is a tougher conversation that's no different than your 9-year-old coming to you and wanting an iPhone, right? We have to have real reasons why the outcome is what we want. All right, even though I think most people are losing that battle. From what I can tell, since most 5-year-olds are walking around with it.
I wondered how many agents are getting their sellers to agree to a price reduction in 2 weeks if the first price doesn't yield offers or showings. Because, I mean, some people routinely do that, Louise.
I do that.
So you go ahead and say, okay, we can start it at
If
this
it's over
price.
what I think it should be. If it's what I think it should be, I don't. But if it's
Right.
overpriced, I absolutely do. Yeah. Put it
Right.
on your listing.
Can you
Yeah,
just
put it
talk
on your listing
through, or Susan, what would you say to your seller?
Well, I mean, I would go back to statistics first, because that's the biggest thing. There's certain areas that are gonna sit a little longer than just 2 weeks. It's just the way it is right now. There is, days on market is longer. Even if you're priced right, days on market is longer right now. So you just have to go back to statistics, and based off the statistics, that's how you do your pricing. If they wanna go higher, here's our time frame to make the adjustment. I'll try whatever price you want to try, but this is the adjustment. Some adjustment might be a $5,000 adjustment, but the majority is going to be somewhere between $10,000 to $25,000 difference when we do make that first adjustment. So, and I write it in my stipulations in the listing that we have an agreement.
Okay. All right, next week, your favorite speaker will be doing sales meeting.
Who is that?
I'm not speaking.
Sean Ross.
Top 3, it is the husband of Terry Cummings, Kit Cummings. Y'all have heard him a million times. He will be talking about just attitude science, which is his top skill. For you people that heard Kit, if you it's just being in his presence for an hour, you are hyped up. He's an amazing individual. I'm just saying, that's what happens. That's what happens.
We want to know, Terry, how do you live with that much positivity?
It's the truth. It's the truth. I mean,
Change your life.
he's like #1 on the planet. Man, you walk out feeling a lot better about yourself and the world. All right, let's just caravans. What do you got? What?
Pickle?
Oh, no, we don't have time for that.
Brad, I got a new listing
Yeah.
out at a town center mall across the street on Barrett Parkway.
Yeah.
3-bed, 2.5-bath townhouse for $215, Barrett Creek condominium, townhouse community.
Okay. Okay. Go.
Okay, my listing in Dunwoody, in Kingsley, we just reduced to 350, 375. It does need work. It's a fixer. I texted those people that had shown it. So if you got any investors out there looking for an opportunity, show it, bring us an offer, see what we can work out. New listing hit the market Friday at Habersham Estate in Buckhead. It's a loft style. It was born a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's been down a loft style, so they have removed all the walls. It's got smooth ceilings, all kinds of upgrades and molding, crown molding. And then I'm got a listing appointment tomorrow with something coming on at Prescott at Park Place. It'll be a 2-2, the larger version. Don't know any details other than that. And I think that's got it.
Who else? Scott?
38 Sloan Street, right by the mill in downtown Roswell. It's was at 6 1/4. We got it down to $5.99. Have a very motivated seller. It's currently being used as an office, but can also be residential. Right in the heart of Roswell. If you want to be in Roswell, or you have anybody wanting to be in Roswell, couldn't have a better location. Comps are 7 1/4.
Okay.
38 Sloan.
38 Sloan Street.
We have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhome, Regency at Mansell in Roswell, priced at $279,900. Beautiful community, super convenient to 400, and historic Roswell. Give us a shout.
Excellent. MAP.
Kind of sort of quiet listing right now. It's my personal home in Laurel Springs. The interior is completely done now. All we are waiting on is landscaping and doing some stuff with the pool. Brick, 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, finished basement, in-ground Gunite pool, probably $759.
Very pretty.
Hey, Mary Ann, living the dream. Selling that house she's already bought. She's a horse person. You got horses, right? You got.
I got 2 horses, 1 mini donkey, 9 chickens, and 4 dogs and 3 cats.
She didn't talk like that before. Hey.
If anybody's looking in the Buckhead or Brookhaven area, I've got a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath on Kingsborough Road, which is Ridgedale Park. It's right there, right in the heart of all the action. So listed at $705. It's a 2006 build, so it's updated. It's very nice and a very nice neighborhood.
Who else? Sam.
Potential short sale, 2 miles from downtown Alpharetta. Nice neighborhood called Brookshade. 5 bedrooms, 4.5 baths, basement, pool. It's a fixer-upper, 6-figure fixer-upper, but comps are 7 to 750 with pool.
Wow, a short sale. I will say this, as of like 2 days ago, I actually do have a very new good source of underpriced property if you have investors looking for such, Atlanta-wide.
I have 2 coming soon, a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Elizabeth Heights, Sandy Springs, Atlanta, 180, and a 5.3 in South Atlanta, south of the airport, off Camp Creek for 260.
I have my old home that I moved out of. It's been a nightmare emotionally for me to sell it. I need an investor as a fixer-upper to come put me out my misery. Take it off my hands. I keep paying the note on it. But, you know, it's a 3-1 bungalow, triple arch front porch near the Beltline in Sylvan Hills. New roof, AC. Haven't listed it yet. It's like a quiet listing, like she said, but kind of in limbo right there. Want to do it.
Throw it out there.
What are you asking?
All right, thank you, Ralph. Bill, anyone?
210.
Anyone introduce Bill?
Yes, I'd like to introduce Eliza Hartkraut. Stand up, Eliza, and say hello. Josh, your former clients, we've done a handful of transactions, and she is going to be awesome in real estate. She lives here in Dunwoody.
Already has business like day 2, so yeah, she will be good. Say hello to Eliza. Very nice person.
After the meeting, birthday cupcakes in the kitchen courtesy of Sandy for RJ's birthday.
They're beautiful.
Very impressive, actually.
We're going live on my listing tomorrow in Snellville for 207. It just got new air, new flooring. Roof is 10 years old. The photograph should look great. It photographed, I think, well yesterday, so it's not going to last long at 207. Snellville.
Where is it?
Snellville off of Ravinia Court.
Okay. Actually, Kangan Gene has been telling people that those were a basket of sunflowers and he put Kangen water on them and they turn into cupcakes.
I just have a question.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a great video, short video for first-time home buyers, even after they've closed, to really explain a little bit more about how to maintain their property, homestead exemption, any of that stuff? Just a nice short video that helps them get fully educated even after the fact. Does anyone have anything like that? I'm gonna start searching, but I just thought if someone's already using one, because I'm using it.
You should do one.
I can't believe Becky does.
Oh, really? Just asking. Thank you.
Yeah, you should do one.
We'll add it to the list.
I'll give you mine.
I should.
Mine starts out, hey, if you're looking at this video and I'm not your agent, then I should be your agent, so.
Usually after the sale, unfortunately.
No, well, no, but it'd be good for you to do that. Yeah, it'd be very good for everybody, yeah.
Question. I need a cleaning crew. Does anybody have or know of a cleaning crew that can go in and clean a house in the College Park area?
Sean does.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll talk to you.
Okay.
Any classes?
We got Ignite starting next Monday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, so anybody that's taken it already, you're welcome to pop in any of the classes. You don't even have to tell me, just show up, but we're going to have a great crew, and I'm excited, starting next Monday.
Good. Okay. Who else? Talking.
I have another plea for any of you that feel so compelled to donate to help with school supplies. In my third year partnering with Barack and Michelle Obama Academy in downtown Atlanta, the boxes are at the front. The backpacks, any school supplies, the list is right there in front of the box. I would greatly appreciate it. I'm having an ice cream social here on Sunday that's been kind of community advertised, but would greatly, greatly appreciate your help. Great, thank you.
Thank you for doing that. All right, anyone else?
I have a buyer's need. If anybody has a house listed in Duluth, Tucker, or North Cross under 250, at least a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, please let me know, because it's been a journey.
About a bed.
No, it should be in Duluth, North Cross, or Tucker.
We're trying now. Okay, so here we go. Mortgage 102 after this. Remember, if you want to attend tomorrow, Alexander's, they would welcome you. Send an email, condolences to them. They would appreciate that also. Anything else? Okay, we're actually, your child starts next week, school?
Thursday, Decatur, City of Decatur starts next Thursday.
So it's Cherokee.
Yeah.
So again,
They're ready to go back.
Start paying attention. I know, Mom, yeah, but start paying attention to traffic patterns. This will change. Have a good one.